Hello, good evening, welcome to Easy 8. My name's Danny, says right down there at the bottom of the screen. It's another Friday, it's the end of the month. It's hopefully the end of a very horrible wet month. It's been apocalyptic here in the southwest of the UK. I know that other places in the world get their fair share of bad weather, but it has just been manky, wet, windy and cold. It has been horrible, and it makes my job at work that much harder to deal with. And I've been really run down, been really kind of like pushing myself to make sure that the quality of my work is top notch, and that hasn't left an awful lot of hobby time for me. But that's all over now, because now we get a couple of weeks of rest and respite at work, and I've got a little week off coming up where I can just kind of focus my attention to my hobby here in the studio. And next week, even though I'm at work, it's going to be much easier. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a few things that I need to catch up on that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. Just finishing off little tanks and things like that, and a few Tyranids, whatever. And it's literally just kind of tiny little details, and I'm looking forward to getting them all done. Anyway, today I'm going to be starting a new project. I'm going to be working on a little Datasmith, which is one of my single characters from my Adeptus Mechanicus range from Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. If you're going to be working on anything this evening, I genuinely am interested, so do drop me a little line. Pop it. Why am I pointing that way? I've not done that for years. Over there's the live chat. I don't know why I did that. You can drop it in over there in the live chat and tell me all about it. With these crazy guys, we've got Adrian, we've got Leslie, we've got Jeff, and we've got Kez. Hi guys, thanks very much for coming along. Sorry I was a little bit late. I was just trying to repair a leaky compressor from my airbrush. I turned it on, it was going I was like, right, that needs stopping. I've crammed some blue tack into a pipe, but it needs further inspection. It's getting worse with age, just like us all. Nah, just kidding. Cool, yeah, so yeah, genuinely, if you are working on something, do let me know. I really want to know. You can, of course, find us over on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, and of course, you can join me at the end of the show on the Easy 8 After Party on Discord. All links to those platforms are just down there in the description. And if you want to leave photos, you can put them on Discord, or you can put them on Facebook. But Facebook doesn't like you leaving photos, which is really weird. So you could just put it as a comment to this week's schedule. That'd be great. That's how we share all our photos on Facebook. Of course, if you like what we do here, please do consider subscribing. It's absolutely wonderful. If you do, sorry, a bit of a frog in my throat there. Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. If you do subscribe, share it with a friend, tell them all about it, subscribe. We've lost a couple of subscribers recently, which is a bit of a sad thing. But it's not for everybody. This isn't a tutorial by any stretch of the imagination. Did I say that right? It's not a tutorial by any stretch of the imagination. I'm getting excited now and I'm speeding up. It's just a painting club where you can come and paint your hordes of unpainted grey plastic. Maybe make some friends in the doing so. Leslie says, just finished painting 36 termagants. Having a little break now, watching this awesome show. Thanks very much. Adrian says, duct tape. Fix it with duct tape. Duct tape fixes everything. You're absolutely right. I'm hoping that maybe like a little bit of well, I don't know what it's called, Loctite or something like that. It's not the super glue Loctite. It's not called Loctite. It's that blue stuff that you put in screw thread. That'll probably do the job. Blue tack's doing a good job right now, but it's a temporary fix. Mike's joined us as well. Evening all, continuing to base the 15mm Grenadier support teams again. Nearly there. Yeah, 15mm takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, doesn't it? Anyway, yeah, please do subscribe. Please do share, and hopefully the community grows, because that's what I really want. So today, like I said, going to be painting this just one little figure. It's a lot of detail on him, and well, you know me, I always say this, I'm going to try and keep it as short and as sweet as possible, but I'm fairly certain I can draw this out over 3 months. So yeah, I'm kind of going in ambitious like, and I want to have it done in a couple of weeks, knowing that I've got some time off coming up soon, but that time off is going to be dedicated to finishing other things. So yeah, let's see how this goes. It's a pre-built model because he was given to me by a friend who was moving house and didn't have enough space to store their stuff. And I'm very grateful. Dave, I know that you actually don't watch this show anymore because of your life changes. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for the massive box of stuff. We're talking over £1,000 worth of stuff that I was given. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Anyway, as you notice that my voice is a little bit, not really there. That's because, well, I work with children. I work at an activity centre. And especially in this weather, I'm required to, and I also lead a team of people doing it, keeping people's spirits up when the weather is horrendous. And that has left me with a little bit of a voice today. So I apologise for that. I know that the new microphone, while it's got a better sound quality, sounds a little distant. I'm aware of all of these things. I'm going to try and keep my voice up. If you're struggling to hear me, or it cuts out again like it did a few weeks ago, but I think that was just a momentary glitch, do let me know. I'm really keen on all the feedback, positive and negative. Let me know how it is. I make this show for you as much as I do for me. I just want it to be fun, and I want it to be quality where I can. So do let me know what you think. I'm considering it's currently mounted to a ceiling, and as you can see here, I'm in the loft of my house. So I've kind of got like those angled roof bits in the eaves essentially, and it's kind of mounted just up there outside of camera. I'm thinking about popping it on the bench, and just over here, where there's quite a bit of space, is actually a horde of half-painted minis, but I'm going to probably like clear that and maybe mount it on the desk. I don't want it obviously in the way here because of my lovely face, so I'm thinking about repositioning it perhaps. There's a lot kind of going on here in front of me, but more on that, on how I'm going to improve that in just a few minutes. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to go over to the workbench and not waste any more time. Cool, so to get me through this evening, I've brought myself a nice cup of tea that looks really bleached out. It's darker than that in reality. I know what everyone thinks about like weak tea. You can't have weak tea, man. Anyway, happy Friday. Cheers. So, here's my little miniature. Let's bring him into view here. So you can see that he's got a lot going on. Move my lights out of the way. He's a little bit bleached out there, isn't he? There's a lot going on. He's got like lots of additional arms. So there's one of his arms and there's his other arm. But he's got all these weird connectors and, cable bundles and, sort of just weird apparatus, whatever. And I believe that this little bit here is like a sensor that kind of emits holy incense because they're extremely religious. He's also got this little arm here on the front, another arm on the back, and there's a weird little mechanical whatsoever coming out the back of his glove over here. He's got some nice claws. He's got an extra gun on his belt, which is kind of cool. I don't know if that's standard, but my friend modelled that on there. Yeah, there we go. Now my hand's in the way. You can see it better now. So yeah, he's really detailed. He's got a little bit of debris on him. Debris. Because just before we went live, I noticed that there was a couple of seams that I didn't do a very good job of cleaning them up. So I've just been using John's favourite tool whenever John's watching back later on. John's over in the States. The Citadel demoulding tool. I absolutely love this tool. I know that some people don't like it. That's why it's funny between me and John. It's like Marmite. You either hate it or you love it. But it's just kind of finished cleaning it all up. So I'm just trying to get like a stiff brush in there now and just sweep out the last of those bits and pieces. I don't really mind if they're stuck on the base because they'll all add up to the look of the dusty Martian base at the end, but I don't want them blowing around and getting in all the detail. Now my friend paints a lot of models and or painted a lot of models, and isn't one of those people that really fusses too much about having like leftover sprue bits, and that really gets my goat. So I'm not going to complain about it because I got these for free, but it has meant there's been a little bit of cleanup left to do while he's all put together, and well, we all know how difficult that actually can be. There we go. Tiny little bit left down there. Might just see if I can get my blade in there. I've actually broken my scalpel, so I'm just going to use the end of my Stanley knife here. Just a little bit left in there, which I'm sure you won't notice at all when I've painted them all up. Well, hopefully not anyway. There we go. Easy 8 plastic scraping club. You heard me. Lovely. Right. So the first thing that we need to do, or that I need to do, there's no we in this I suppose, is I need to give them a bit of a priming. I'm not normally really all that fussed about priming my miniatures when it's just one little tiny one. If I had like a big tank I certainly would. But it does benefit them, and the paint's going to cling to it better, and I'm using some colours that are really quite watery in terms of their opaqueness. So I'm definitely going to give him a priming today. Just going to get a sheet of paper here so that I can prime on the top of it, pop him there. So have a look at some of the comments going in. Loctite 316, if I recall, says Adrian. Yes, Loctite. Loctite, I'm sure. I've got some at work and I'm going to steal it. Whatever. Leslie says, I think the mic sounds fine, buddy. What mic is it? It's a cheapo. It's from Newer. It's Newer. It's Newer. Can't remember quite which one it is, what model it is, but it's a USB mic, so it doesn't even go through, you know, the little sound squawker. You know what I'm talking about. You know. It clicks into them. Fancy what's it, whatever. Yeah, that thing. Anyway. Oh, excuse me. Did you hear that? That was the tea making me burp. I'm so sorry. Of course, it happened at a quiet moment. I've got white and I've got grey, and I think I'm gonna do grey on them. I use white on my Tyranids because yellow. Although now I'm saying I am going to be painting orange and it is really watery. White. I do grey on all the other ones. Let's give this a try. Screaming plastic like a pro. Jeff says, just posted a full set of Normandy rivers and bridges and just finishing a Scottish longhouse and a big set of barricades. Now starting a huge bocage build. If anyone doesn't know who Jeff is, he's my dad. Hi, Dad. So you get a free advertising plug. Purple Lion Creations, there's a link down there. Go check it out. It's super awesome, cool. Specialises in very, very top quality terrain builds, scenics, anything like that, especially if it's historical. There he is. White, you fool. I've got you, man. I've got you. Specialises in stuff that is like tailor built, bespoke stuff for customers, specific needs, and also specialises in bocage. It's phenomenal. White, you fool. I'm on it, man. I'm on it. Okay. So I'm just going to put a couple of drops in here. When I say a couple of drops, I'm going to go a bit heavier than a couple of drops. But I am going to put a couple of drops of thinner, or maybe a bit thinner and flow improver. Because it's primer, it's a little bit thicker. A little bit thicker, so here we go. Maybe one drop of that, and then one drop of flow improver. Don't know why I shook that. There's literally no need. It has no pigment at all. Wonderful. Where's my little mixing brush gone? There it is. I see it. Old Faithful right here. Just give it a mix up in the hopper. There we go. Wash that off over there. I have a beautifully clean water glass today. Give it a bit of a scrub. It was a bit minging. Okay, so here we go then. I think I'm gonna hold it, and then yeah, let's get all the undersides done first. Bit of a test shot there. Bit spattery. Doesn't matter. Oh no. So I've ordered a new airbrush set. So it comes with a new gasket. It comes with a new needle and a nozzle, which is the tiny little bit that fits in there. And that's cost me quite a bit of money because they're quite expensive. They are very well made, and it still isn't here. So yeah, glad I found my gasket the other week. I think I've got a blockage already in the nozzle. That's one of the reasons why I've decided to buy a new set, is because it keeps on blocking. It could be any sort of amount of damage inside that nozzle. It's very hard to clean. I did put it in the sonic bath last week, so if you remember, it was working really well. And this week, not so well. I was going to do the priming before the show, but I ended up doing a few other bits and pieces whilst watching Band of Brothers, because I have been completely encouraged and enthused by our recent Easy 8 road trip. We went to the Tank Museum at Bovington again. What a wonderful trip out that was. It was a really nice day. Do you know, I was absolutely zonked by the time I got back. I was so tired. It was unbelievable. And thanks to Mike, who's in the live chat now, for driving us all down there. We made a new friend. So it was such a lovely day out. And I don't know if I thanked you properly for driving us all down there. We met up in a nice public space, and you know, we had a really nice time. So thanks very much for that, Mike. I really appreciate that, and it was lovely to meet you. And boy, oh boy, did we see some things. being a bit tricksy. It doesn't really, I'm not really all that fussed. If I'm not all that fussed about getting, or having no primer on there, don't really mind about having a thin, watery, spattery thing. Look at that, it's really struggling today. Crikey. Yuck. Adrian says, I'll be currently working on the Rogal Dawn battle tank, going in a different direction colour-wise than I'm doing with the tank's kind of Africa core. 8th Army desert colours. That sounds really interesting. As always, please do pop your photos up on Facebook. Absolutely love Angry Ron. He was amazing. Well done, sir. Let's just give this another little bit of a nudge and see what happens. Doesn't like me today. You know what? I wonder if it's because my pressure's really low. It totally is. I turned off the compressor while I was repairing it, didn't turn it back on, and the air's all leaked out of it, so it wasn't really pushing very hard. That's all it was. Excellent. Darren's joined us. Hello, mate. Yeah, look at that. That's much better. Hope you're doing well, Darren. Nice of you to join. Thank you very much. Are you working on anything this evening? If so, what good sir? Mike says, you're welcome. It was a hoot. Nice to talk for a day with new people. And tanks. Oh my god, the tanks. I'll tell you what, we all knew it was coming, all of us that went there, because we've all been together before. So we ran in ahead and stood in that first little bit when he first confronted with the Centurion that's pointing at you, good old Lily, and the look on your face was, oh man, it was a beautiful moment. Yeah. It was worth it, but I'm sure we were all like that at the same time. But when we went in, look at that quality coming out now. Like, oh my god, what a noob! I couldn't hear the hissing with my headphones on. But yeah, it was leaking. I thought I cleaned it. I thought I cleaned it. What a noob. Every time I go to the tank museum, I always come away with like a different favourite, something that I've looked at with a little bit more, you know, with a more caring eye and sit there and study it. And the first time you go there, you just kind of got to walk around and see as much as you can. And I think that's what Mike was doing. We kind of left him do it for a little while, you know. But because I've been several times now, it's like going to an art gallery in some ways. And I like to just stand there in front of the piece and just kind of take it in and admire all of the, you know, features and read up on it, and yeah, just take it in. Just take it in. And I just watched episode 4 of Band of Brothers, which is just after Carentan, when they go into Holland, and they've had the tanks, the friendly tanks, go in, get shot up by the Tiger and the Jagdpanther. That was awesome. Just trying to make sure that I get all those undercrofts in there. Now there is a bit of a nightmare here because he's got a cloak, which means that painting inside is going to be really tricksy. He's got, unfortunately, wearing that cloak, he's actually got some really cool bionic leg parts in there, but you don't see it. Kind of don't know why they've sculpted it. It seems like almost like a bit of a waste, really, but you know, whatever. It's there. I can just see it through there, but painting it later on is going to be really difficult. So what I'll probably do, oh, I'm struggling with my words. I'll probably do is I'll just get like a dark coloured, you know, paint on an old rubbishy brush and just kind of stuff it in there, perhaps. Or I might be able to get like a spray, but I don't know. I don't think a spray is really worth it. I'll just do my very best with a brush later on. So yeah, we're almost done here with the undercoat, and I'm just kind of keeping it going. Still a little bit left in there. That got quite a bit. And we parked right by a chaffee. Nice car park. Yeah. It was great, wasn't it? It was just brilliant. And it was so much quieter than the last time we went. Tiger Day. There's about 6 other people in the whole museum. Apart from the conference, there was some sort of conference going on up at the top, and we didn't know. We knew that they were there, but we couldn't see them or hear them really. And I was talking to Mike, I think it was, talking to him about a particular tank, and I finished explaining, and I got a big round of applause. They weren't applauding me, they were applauding something else, but it just looked really well timed. Mike says, I had some Admech once, I think I mentioned previously. I really loved the crossover of the steampunk from the brass metalwork and the cult-like clothes. That is the thing that drew me to them, was the steampunk aspect. I think they're beautifully designed, beautifully molded. You can't get models like this. Well, you can now, especially with the advent of like 3D printing. A lot of the sort of independent companies that are coming up. But these models are just unparalleled. It's a fantastic little thing, and I got it for free, so can't complain. The only ones I don't think really fit were those weird electro priests. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it depends on which way you want to go with it, doesn't it? You can go like more sort of the religious side of it if you want to, or you can go the more steampunky way. And it was the steampunk stuff that kind of drew me in, if I'm honest. I don't really mind either or. I quite like the priesty things. Oh my goodness, butterfingers. It's the servitors on tracks that I think they look a little bit lazy. But I've got a couple of them, so I'm going to paint them, right? Anyway, let's just get this paint here off. Do you know what? Paint on here. Here we go. It's a lot of fumes there. Okay, there's my little nozzle protector, just there. Right, I'm just going to stick some neat clean. I always go a little bit heavier on the cleaner when I'm using primer, just because it dries a little bit more aggressive. Just a little bit in there, like that. And I'll put a couple of drops of water in, like that. There we go. And I'm just going to purge that out while that's drying. Lovely, cool. Darren says, did you find the Churchill gun carrier? So we were in the car park at the end of the day, and there were some wreckagey bits just off beside the restorations. You know the centre where they've got like 100 tanks. We weren't allowed in there. They only open it up like an hour on special events and whatever, or like really busy days, and it wasn't that busy, so we did go and ask them if they could open it, and they weren't going to. But right beside it were a couple of wreckagey things. It was right at the end of the day, and I didn't think to look for the gun carrier, but we might have seen it because there was something like we were like, "Ooh, what is that?" So yeah, maybe that was it. I'm going to clean the inside of my hopper out because all that paint's already gone super dry and thick. And that's just a cotton bud with some water on it. I'm just putting pressure, basically. Bit of last week's paint just sitting there. I've got to clean the dribble off. Tough old bits. Lovely, cool. Let's give that a bit of a wipe out. But the dune callers are awesome. Yes, they are. They're one of my faves. I really like the Skitari, just the standard little Ranger. I think these guys are sweet. They're just such a nice model, and I really tried to paint them as close to the reference material in the book as I possibly could. The only problem I've got with these guys, with the particular army that I painted, I decided to not do the standard Mars thing because boring, although the colours are beautiful. Everyone does Mars, right? That's the poster child, isn't it? I decided to do Riser, which is an orange colour, and they don't do all the markings for them anymore, so you can't get the like all the decals. You can only get all the Mars ones, which comes in the box, which is really upsetting. But I have found a guy who has kind of drawn them, and I've also found a company that prints your own designs. They're a little bit expensive, and I'm not ready for them just yet. I just spent some money on some other stuff, which I'll talk about in a bit. So when I'm good and ready, basically, yeah. That is a well-deserved cup of tea after these last couple of weeks. I always thought that the Admech would fit well in the Dune universe. Maybe that it's all sound. Maybe that's a part of one of the the inspirations. Makes a lot of sense. Cool. Right. So, the last time I did Admech individuals, I did the Skitarii. Now I've done the Skitarii in two different ways. I have I got the other type? Here they are. I sprayed them all orange, and then I hand painted the silver. And these ones, they look very similar. Ignore the plasma gun, I haven't finished it. It doesn't look very good. I did the silver. I sprayed the silver on because I wanted a proper looking metallic. And it looks really good on big miniatures, but on Skitarii, it's lost. And it was such a faff painting the orange over the top of silver. I actually had to buy a brush on orange to actually make some layers. It was demoralising week on week of just painting layers of orange, and it never would have done it. I would have just ended up painting a thick layer, so it was terrible. So I've decided with my Skitarii, I'm going to be spraying them orange and then hand painting silver. And if I'm doing bigger machines like robots or titans, not titans but like knights and things like that, then that's fine. So yeah, you know what. So now I need to find my orange. Where is it? Here it is. It is hot orange. It is hot orange, isn't it? I went for the darker orange, not the brighter orange. So this is my airbrush version right here, and I've got the brush-on version right here. So they're identical, but one's thicker, basically. Does anyone know when the Salute floor plans get released? I don't know, and you need to save your pennies for Salute. Yeah, I don't know. No, and there's a part of me that doesn't want to know. I think I want the abuse of not knowing, so I could just kind of go in there and just walk around. But I think because it's going to be so big that I think I probably should. So if you find them, let me know. Share them on the Facebook page if you wouldn't mind. That'd be great. Anyway, hot orange. Gonna stick it on the Easy 8 Wazamatic. I've lost my button. I need a little button thing, don't I, so I can have it on the desk. Dave said to me the other week, you can really hear the Wazamatic on the new microphone. Sorry. I want to say that it's not really that bad, but it is quite loud. The old mic was fine-tuned to just pick up my own voice because it's so close to me, it was easy to do. Right. And I'm not a sounds engineer. I'm just going to put in like 5 or 6 drops. And I'm going to try and... Oh, excuse me, I've got a hiccup. I'm going to try and be accurate and not get it all over the place, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. It's a nice orange coming out there, isn't it? Here we go. Is this orange colour, and then the inside is dark red. So when it comes to doing the inside of that robe, I might just see if I can get like some darker on the end of the brush and just stuff it in there basically, and be done with it. Now he's obviously got his robes. I say obviously, it's not that obviously, but they're going to come down on his sleeves up here. Make sure that I get. Basically, he's kind of over his chest, but he's got loads of gear on his chest. So I'm just going to try and move it around, limit the amount of overspray on the model, and just try and get it in all those various places. Just give him some air a minute. This colour here, this particular orange, is really, really watery. And I like to, as you know, give them a light dusting, dry them off, and then give them a second pass. It's almost impossible with this colour. As Leslie's saying, the colour looks awesome. Thanks, man. I said awesome. Pretty cool. It's a really nice colour. I like it. I deliberately went for the dark orange rather than the bright one. And when I showed my friend who gave me these, I showed him the colour that I went for. He's like, ooh, dark orange, not bright. I thought, yeah, I already do like a bright colour scheme in 40k, don't I? I do my Tyranids and they're bright yellow. I've never worked with orange up till at that point, so I thought I'll just do something just different. Step outside the comfort bubble for a little while. making sure that I get all those areas where there could be a piece of robe showing. Now, yeah, I'm looking at it now. I'm glad I actually did prime it because I forgot how watery or how sort of translucent this orange is. So, yay on the white, Dad. Thanks. Just in behind that little gun there, it's a little bit kind of washed out. And again, just some air. So here we go, just some air while we wait. Leslie says, oh no, I've already read that one. Colour looks pretty cool. Kez says, I don't know if anyone would be interested, but it's a bit on the pricey side. I have just backed this. I think there's a link coming. Interesting that you're saying backing something. It's a Kickstarter, isn't it? I'm waiting. Unless I just can't see the link because it's like some sort of hyperlink that doesn't show up. Tell me what it is, Kez. Itchy head. Is it that robot-y game that you like? What's it called? Mech Warrior or Battletech? Battletech is the tabletop version. Mech Warrior is basically the video game versions. They're all cool. I can't see anything, so if there's a link on there on the live chat because it's going through a different piece of software for me, I can't see it. No, it's a lamp to paint by. Okay, is it by Red Grass Games by any chance? Oh my goodness, what is going on with my fingers today? Some more air. I'm interested, Kez, I'm interested. Tell me more. Yeah, the Redgrass R9 lamp. I've just backed that same Kickstarter. Ha ha ha. Excellent. It looks phenomenal. That's what I was talking about, all this space up here. I'm hoping to remove these two lamps entirely and have the Redgrass Games R9 lamp. What a phenomenal coincidence that is. Yes, it looks all sorts of sciencey amazing, doesn't it? If you don't know what it is that we're talking about, go and have a look. It's a really exciting thing. I was going to talk about it today and put a link on for the show next week, just because I did it earlier on while I was chilling out with my cats. It just came up on my Facebook feed, and I was like, also on my YouTube feed, I think. I was like, ooh, well, I'll have a look at that. Maybe it was the same video that we got linked there, because maybe that's why we kind of got it at the same sort of time. There was a dude on a YouTube channel who's kind of basically showing it off, and I was like, colour me intrigued. And as I was looking at getting new studio lights, he literally says, get this instead of studio lights. I was like, okay. And saved myself about 500 quid. So, yay. And a lot of space and setup, of course. You can see how long this has taken me just with an airbrush and a good priming. How long it would have taken to do it by brush with these watery layers over dark silver. Someone testing lights for painting. Yeah, we watched the same video and we both have the same thing. Yeah. I think it's going to come in September. There's quite a wait on it, and we didn't. The early bird and super early bird versions were already sold out. So yay, we're part of the Redgrass Games Light Club. Good for us. I strongly recommend everyone to go and at least have a look. It's quite a thing. I don't know if anybody would be interested. Yeah, I was. Just looked. Looks a bit funky, doesn't it? Yeah, man. It's cool. there's a lot of science gone into, the science and research gone into, the sort of the daylight colours and colour temperature and making it easier on your eyes. So it's a little bit warmer than natural daylight, which is quite unusual for painting lights or craft lights if you want. But it means that you could probably last longer and your eyes don't get so tired. Good thinking, huh? We are almost done with this orange. Cool. Do you know what? I'm done with this orange. Just drying it off at the back there. Oh no, just run out of paint. Yay! 50-50 mix of cleaner and water. And time to purge. Lovely. Oh, shut the compressor off there because I'm not going to need that very much now. Let's put this away. Bring him back in. Just get some air on him just for a second. Use up the airs in the compressor. Just dry him down a little bit. A lot of those seams are hidden really well. That's really good. And even though that there's still a little bit of transparency on that orange, it's actually going to play to my benefit and make it look a little bit gritty, a little bit darker, a little bit grim dark. And it will all be hidden underneath sort of weathering effects and stuff anyway, so yeah. Jeff says, ha, damn it, thought I had found the floor plan for Salute, but it was the 2019 one. You like my music? Have you never heard this music before? Or funky like my music? It's so difficult trying to keep up with what people actually mean on a typey chat. So much to be taken for body language and vocal expression. Pop that away. Cool. Here he is. Here is this dude. Now, I think we need to do a lot of silver. He's got a head that looks almost entirely mechanical, which wouldn't be unusual for these guys. But I'm just trying to have a little look to see if there's anything fleshy on there at all. I can't see anything fleshy. He looks to be almost entirely mechanical, which is kind of cool. Just trying to think about how I want to achieve the looks on him. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to start with the red for the cloak. And the reds that I use is Scarlet. Give that a bit of a shake. And give that a waz on the old Wazomatic. It's been a little while since I've used it. Cool. Now there's a few spots on him that are going to be red. Let's get a good brush. Use my 0. Which, if you remember, has been jipping me lately with its little separating bristles. It was doing right the other week. So, we've got a lining on the inside, and I think what I've been doing with my other guys, I've been doing, because there's like a 3-dimensional lip to the cloaks, I think I've been doing that orange. I have been. Okay, so I don't need to do much there. I'm not going to use this brush and trying to cram that on the inside in there. I just spray it more. Nah, I'm done with the spray. Let's move on. So we've got a little turn up here, like a little roll up on his sleeve. So I'm going to get that with some red. Now the red and the orange work quite well as a base. The orange being very close in the colour wheel, obviously. Even though this paint's quite thin, it'll only need 1 or 2 coats. bit thicker than the orange. Now, even as an airbrush paint, I'm actually considering putting a touch of water in there. Make it go on a little bit smoother. That's what I'm gonna do. Moisten the bristles a little. Oh, maybe a bit too much there. Okay. Like I said, that lamp looks good. They certainly pinned it to the coattails of some famous names in the hobby. Might wait till it goes retail. Yeah, so you've got Duncan Rhodes for one. Oh, let's get rid of Wasmac. What am I doing? Leaving that up there. Duncan Rhodes is certainly the first person on that list. But you know, if it's good enough for Duncan, it's good enough for me. And I've been looking for new lights anyway, so it was a no-brainer, I think, really. But yeah, wait for it to go retail. Wait till I get mine and Kez gets hers, and we'll tell you, show you. I was actually thinking about doing like a little product review on it or something. Maybe. A bit closer there. Something that the Red Glass Games light will improve for me. Actually quite a shiny paint, so trying to see where the edge of this turnip is actually quite difficult. Can I move this thing out of the way without breaking it? No. Fair enough. Get it all over that pipe then, that's fine. Oh, it's so tricky. If I can't get all the way around it, chances are I'm not going to be able to see it really. So, like most things, not fast. Yeah, whatever. Can't get in there really. No problem. Make sure that the inside there's all done. Sure, I can hide it with washes and weathering. There's a nice little accent to this colour. I always thought that they were very, very close and would clash. They do a little bit, but it is a nice little accent. I'll go over it with another layer in a minute so that it looks a little bit more opaque. Now we've got a turn up on this side. It's got like a big fighting claw thing here. Bit bleached out here, aren't we? Oh, I just knocked my webcam. The Wasmatic was there for a while. Yeah, it was. I just forgot about it. That model is looking killer. Love how that colour is coming through. Yeah, the orange doesn't take long to, you know, become very prominent. It's really watery though. Do you remember all the old-fashioned yellows that you used to get that made yellow the worst colour ever to work with, including white? Back in the day, especially with the old Citadel paints, yellow was awful colour to paint with. Well, this orange is worse. It's very difficult to get a decent opaque layer on there. I know that it was an airbrush paint and I was using it with brush, but It took 8 layers and I still wasn't satisfied. Yeah. That was the thing. I was just getting frustrated on the show as well. So I learned my lesson. Cool. Now, I'm just looking to see if there's like a neckline or something to it. I can't see one, so I'm not going to fret about it. But I bet you, the moment like I finish painting things up here, I'll go, oh, there it is. Because what I could do now is get a bit of a rubbishy old brush and just kind of stuff it down in there. But what I'm probably going to do is just do that with silver. Because you can see that he's got this big collar that comes up. That'll all be silver. And I'm thinking about, there's some wiring on the top of his head which I'll probably do silver, and you know, various different metals or whatever. He's got some eyes which are there. I would like the faceplate to be quite dark and have the piercing blue eyes come through, which is like a signature for Skitari. And he's got some pipes that kind of come up under his neckline. I like to do all my pipes sort of like a tired grey black sort of colour. So yeah, that might be quite nice. Got this little coily thing on the back. It'd be quite nice to do some sort of lighting effect on there, perhaps. But I don't know yet. That's a ways away yet. That might be all I need to do for the time being with the red. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a rubbishy brush now and just put it in there and see what happens. I am tempted to get the airbrush back on again. Do it. It's going to be easier, isn't it? Easier and quicker, and I can always neaten up the orange by brush. Cool. I need you again, airbrush. Jeff says, oh no, Mike says, Jeff, I've always wanted my own PA, thank you. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Last brew of grenadiers has hit the bench. Be glad to get to the painting. Yeah, some people in the group don't like painting. That's why they come to the show, to try and find that inspiration and motivation. Yeah, I'm like half and half. I really enjoy them both, but I get bored of doing too much making. I get bored of too much painting, and I have to kind of break it up. That's why I've got so many projects going on at the same time, is because I've probably got bored somewhere and had to make something. Yeah. Oh, lovely cup of tea. Right, we're getting quite close to a break, so where's my sheet paper? I've got just a couple of dots of red in the airbrush here, and I'm just going to see if I can get them in close. I'm even going to take the nozzle protector off, or the needle protector off, just so I can get in closer. I'm going to get red all over that orange, but that's alright. It's a bit of an afterthought, as everything is with me. That's working. Okay, cool. This is quicker than the brush. Nice. All right. Kind of like bleeding through there a little bit, but that's okay. All right. This is nice. What about a little bit up in there? Yeah, I'm glad we decided to do that. It doesn't need anything more than that, really. I could have taken them off the base, but I didn't want it. If I'm honest with you. Cool. Put the protector back on. Come on, mate. That was some time saved. So just going to give this, because I've not actually opened this, not actually used this. By the time I got this, it was the other model was finished, or the other models were finished, but I got it for future projects. So I'm just going to put a little dollop in there. It's so much more thick. I would have bought both airbrush and brush paints, but it's expensive to do that. So yeah, I paint by airbrush paints as much as I can. And if I find that I'm using one a lot, like with my Tyranids, when I replace one, I buy them both. But that's cheaper, way cheaper than buying both sets and not knowing which ones you're going to use. Still quite translucent though. That's really incredibly good words there. Really thin. But better than an airbrush paint. Jeff says, it's okay, Mike, I'm still trying to find it. We'll call in a favour. I miss Kyle. He kept on top of all the live chat stuff for me. Back in the old days. Easy 8 co-host. Rightio. That's not looking so bad, is it? It's a good start. A good start. I want to say we're 50% of the way there, but you know we're not, right? We're about, what, 10%? If that? Anyway. Let's consider going for a break. Just wash my brush out there. The funny thing is despite it being a really weak source paint when you put it on a model, when I wash my brush off, it floods the whole colour. It's changed everything. It's so dominant in the water. Anyway. So what have I got to do to him next? I'm going to let that dry. Blast him with some air. Don't have the hairdryer. The other half took that back the other day. Just going to let that dry, blast him with some air maybe, and then I'm going to start plotting on the silver. There's going to be a lot of silver, and I think to start with it's going to be quite overpowering. It's going to be quite a dominating thing. It's going to be all orange, all silver, but it will die down, especially when I start putting washes and things on it later on, and then just see how we go as we go, basically. It's exciting though, really nice model. I really like him. I think I've actually got one painted in the box that my friend gave me, but I don't want to use it as a guide or anything. I want to kind of let my own artistic direction and follow me on this one. Anyway, we're going to go for a quick break. Just to catch up on what you guys are talking about. I don't actually know what you're talking about anymore. Yeah, talking about traders, plan, want it. Yeah, publishing, great, cool. Don't know what you're talking about. Gonna go for 10 minutes, gonna go and have a break and go see how the cats are, because they're in the house on their own at the moment, and that's really giving me the jitters. Anyway, I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Whatever it is that you're gonna do, go and change your paint water. Go do it. Bye bye. welcome back. Hope you had a good break. I can't find the cats. Bit concerning. Never mind. The rain is still going on outside. You might even be able to hear it through the new microphone, but it's just been relentless lately. But I'm indoors and I'm happy. Just started putting silver on this chap here. One thing I've noticed, the difference between the two paints that I'm using, the brush one and the airbrush one, for the orange, is that the brush on one takes a lot longer to dry. I would expect there to be a slight difference, but I'm just blasting with air, and it's not even touching it. So that's, excuse me, something to consider in the future, just, you know, with different projects, etc. Anyway, the silver's going on quite nice, taking my time with it. I find silver to be a notorious crawler, so it's one of those little paints where if I like put it on wrong or do something, get a tiny bit on my thumb, it transfers to everything and you find silver splotches everywhere. So I always like to be really careful when doing silver, and this miniature is going to have a lot of it. Anyway, remember, if you're new here, I say remember, if you're new here, you wouldn't remember because it'd be your first time here, right? But if you are new here, please don't forget that, you know, every little bit that you do helps, so please do consider subscribing. Share the word of Easy 8. Tell a friend or someone who you know is into the hobby, and let them know that we exist. We're here as a painting club. You can come along, make some friends, and, you know, get your stuff painted, because, let's be honest, we've got hordes of unpainted stuff lying all around us, all around. So this is a nice little opportunity for you to carve a little bit of your time out for your week, you know, and get some hobby done. Do you know what? It doesn't even matter if you're not painting. You know, do whatever you want. Come along and join in the social just over here with these guys. I think I kind of understand what it is that my dad and Mike are talking about, but I'm struggling. Anyway, let's come away from here. Let's get straight back over to the workbench. Here we go. So yeah, just put him in the clamp. This is a little bit easier to hold, especially with all those spikies going all over him. And I'm just putting some silver on this glove, and I'm thinking that it would be nice to kind of do some like gold panels on the glove, because I don't know if you can see so well, but he's got like, his glove is made up of lots of different segments and panels, and I thought it might be quite nice to do one in gold. But I'm going to make them all silver for now so that I can make my mind up later on. What you can't see is that he's actually got like little studdy spikes on the inside, like really good grip. That's kind of a cool touch, I like that. A detail that is lost, really. We know it's there though, don't we? I'm going to do all of these bits here silver. Yeah, I thought it might be nice to kind of make him look a little bit smarter than the standard sort of line infantryman, because I think that he's kind of like a bit of a big deal. He's quite an important chap. His job is to walk the battlefield with the big robots that I painted probably a few months ago now. Where are they? Here's my riser pattern one. This fella. He walks along with these guys and programs them. And without him, they kind of fall back on basic operating things, and they're not as good. They are still absolutely terrifying, but they're better with this guy. And they also protect him, because obviously if he makes them better, he's a bit of a target at that point, isn't he? I remember fighting against the Admech once, and there were quite a few of those robots on the field, and they were horrible, absolutely horrible to take on. It was a big team game. It was 2-a-side, 2-a-side or even 3-a-side. It was 2-a-side, and it took everything from me and my helper outer. Okay, I'm going to take him off the stand in a minute to try and paint some of his bits that I can't quite see in there. For now, while I got him in the stand, I'm just going to paint some more. Now, both of his arms are mechanical. He's actually got some like little piston bits sticking out of his sleeve. We're going to paint that all silver as well. I'm going to paint all the guns silver, and then later on I will tart it up with a little bit of gold. Because for now it just makes it easier trying to like work out where his hand is, work out what parts of the gun I want, different metal colours and whatnot. Actually, what I should just be doing is just getting some silver on there and then doing details later on to kind of define all those individual pieces. Just trying to take the silver right up to the edge of the cloak. It doesn't actually go into a recess, there's no like hole sculpted for the sleeve, so just taking it up to the flat edge there. Some sort of weird claw connector thing sticking out underneath him. Don't quite know what it is, so I don't quite know how to paint it. Looks like it's got a handle, but I don't think it's actually attached to it. Now, this little pipe here, I don't know if you can see that so well, make sure I'm actually in the... Oh, is this someone going? Oh, Mike says, but not tonight, got to get up at, oh my god, o'clock tomorrow for work. See you later. Bye. Bye, mate. Thanks very much for coming by, and thanks again for last weekend. It was a wonderful day out. Have a lovely day, and I hope your shift isn't so, oh my god. Take care, mate. Have a nice evening. What was I saying? Can't remember. Gone. Oh, yeah, this little pipe here. And basically, if it's got like a ribbed pipe section to it, I like to change things up and not have everything all silver, because it is quite tempting to want to paint things like that silver. So I do them all now like Corvus Black, which is a very, very dark grey, essentially. Let me find lights in again. The orange doesn't really like showing up on my monitor. I wonder if that's my camera or if it's my monitor. Let me know. Does the orange show up, or does it bleed out everywhere? I've been looking at new monitors, but obviously I've just bought a very expensive light. Trying to leave that little effort inside that gun, if you can see so well. I bring him up a bit closer. Look in the gun, there's like a little rail at the bottom. Yeah, see in there? I've decided to not paint that silver because, I don't know, it might be a bit of a reminder for me, but I want to see if I can do some sort of like glowing plasma effect in there. One of those things that I've got to catch up on over the next couple of weeks is some of the glowing effects I've done on some of my other Skitari. I've, started doing, I wasn't doing a very good job of it, left it for another project, which just flicked silver, but fortunately I flicked it onto a place where I want it. So I've just not done it. I'll do it at the same time, perhaps. Kes says that the orange looks fine, thank you very much. You know, like the old-fashioned TVs when red used to be the colour, it used to bleed out everywhere. Yeah, it's kind of doing that on my monitor, especially when the lights are bright. A little bit tricky just to kind of get it on the inside down in here, so I'm just kind of, throwing it around in there. Don't really care how it goes on because you're barely going to see it in there, to be honest. That one little bit, I don't know if you can see it, it's one of those things that I can see really well, and it's just one piece of unpainted bit of arm that stands out quite a bit. It's really hard to get to. I'm just trying to work out the best way of going in. Really testing me. Pretty much hit it. Again, one of those things that perhaps will bleed away into obscurity when I put the washes on later on. Your monitor is bleeding. Oh no. Yeah. Right. I don't know what this little thing is. It's like a little Lego hand, like a little arm, like a little claw sticking out the side. It's going to be painted silver. Looks like it's got a handle there. I might see if I can paint a nice little handle colour on it later on. A handle colour, that's right, you heard me. Okay. Oh, that was a little bit on the tough side. So, we've got some pipey bits. We've got a big snaky old connector thing coming down here, whatever that is. Let's get some silver on that. Got like a little box with, like, I suppose, like a little button control box, like like Sarah Connor does to kill the Terminator in Terminator 2. Looks like one of those things on there. Maybe it's got some sort of readout thing on there. I think all these little segments, I don't know if you can see that they're actually segments there. Yeah, I think they'll look quite nice if they're gold. But again, I'm just going to base it with metal. Silvery colour now. And then the gold will go over it really well. If I decide to do it like that. Got an itchy ear, bear with me. Let's sort this out. Oh, that's better. Okay. Yeah, back onto the funny segmented cabley thing. Like a giant cable tidy. Try and paint behind it without getting any on the orange cloak. That might be harder than I want it to be. See if I can just get him in the light. It was bring my light in here, and then you can actually see what I'm doing. So I have to really get the light in now to see where I need to get that paint in there. I'll wash my brush out in a second. Get a bit claggy. Okay, so not only have we got that thing, we've got this big bundle of cables coming down here. Now, it would be really cool to do them all different colours, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? I really want to do that, but it's going to be a pain in the backside. So I don't know what colours to do them all. What colour should I do that big bundle of cables? There's some connectors here on the ends of it, so I'll paint those silver now. Get that kind of done. I don't want them all to be, you know, like silver connectors or even gold connectors. The black colour would be a bit boring as well, wouldn't it? What colour should I do all those in, you know, all those cables? I can do them individually. It will take a lifetime to do, but I could do it. Or should I do them all that black colour? You know what black colour I'm talking about, the colour that I use on all the tyres from my vehicles. You've got little strap bandings all the way around them as well. I get like 1, 2, 3, 4 locations, 5 locations, so I can do those silver or gold as well. They're all bundled together. Bright pink. The cable should be bright pink, green and blue. Yellow, red, and black. Yeah. Trying to think of like a dominant colour to do them and then like pick the odd one out or something. That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? Do a pink one if you like, Leslie. Like a little bit out of place. Well, there's all the connectors done. I think that the colours for them should be done like later on as part of detailing, but yeah, it's definitely something to think about, isn't it? What did Kev say? Yellow, red and black. Green and blue? Yeah. Now, this has got a big hose, and on the end of it there's like a metallized connector. So I'm going to make that all silvery. There's loads to do, isn't there? Loving it. Loving it. Right, let's maybe. I don't know what these are. These like data states? I don't even know what that is. It's crazy. Let's do it. This gun here. There's a little bit of silver on his knee. I was doing the other gun earlier on. Just a tiny little dot, but it stands out on this orange. Adrian says, depends, do you want a gritty realism and then do the cable should be black with a glossy highlight? Yeah, that's what was originally sprung to mind as soon as I thought about what they were. Is that do them like, you know, black and maybe even make them glossy or something. But something to be said about kind of how do I put it? When something is a certain thing, let's go like the historical tanks for example. When I'm painting the tools that are often stowed on the tanks tools are often painted in the same colour that the tanks are to obviously conceal them. You don't want like, you know, bright wooden tool handles and stuff to be kind of showing off the tank when it's all camouflaged. But if you paint them the same colour as the tank, it just looks like that you've left them out. So it looks like you're a lazy painter in some ways. So it, in the same vein, is doing it the gritty, realistic way a bit of a cop-out? Painting the handle of this gun silver, like wondering if that was a good idea. These guys do like really ornate wooden handled weapons, but that's something to think about as time goes on. Would I make this like a wooden bodied pistol? So that looks like some sort of pipe that goes all the way around it, which I think I'm going to do in the black colour. Even though it looks quite different from all the other pipes. I don't know. So many things to consider. I don't know. There's another wire under this gun, so you can see he's kind of got like some sort of belt holster thing. See that? And there's a cable that goes around his hip that attaches into the back of his gun. There's also like a little wire that sticks off underneath it, and I think I should do that wire maybe black or like a cable colour, like one of the colours that we're talking about now, and then do this sort of tubing here, gold or silver. I can get lost in thought on these sorts of things for such a long time. Sometimes I just need to pick a colour and go. Anyway, the little plates in here, I don't know what they are. It doesn't look like armour. Right, let's move on to the backpack. But before I do that, do you know, I'm going to wash my brush out because it's really claggy. Headset's falling off. There we go. Right, I'm just going to get onto the backpack now, really, because I think I'm getting lost in the details. I just kind of want to get as much on this bad boy done as possible in terms of like base coverage. We'll come back and do all those fine detailing bits a little bit later, and there's a little bit more time for it perhaps. There's a temptation, isn't there, to want to paint every single detail, which I think is quite a childish thing. Not that, you know, children are bad at all, but do you know, like when you first start painting Warhammer models, you're like, oh, there's a bit, I'll paint that. Oh, there's a bit, I'll paint that, and you've got this like crazy coloured thing. But you know, when you first do it, you're well proud of yourself. I used to paint like every single hose or piping or whatever silver, and all the little details and things. But actually, in the real world, often details are just kind of a background feature, and they're often painted the same colour as whatever it is a detail on. So again, it's about kind of like working with, you know, features and it being a model. Like, does it need to be painted, or are we going to pick it out because it would look nice on the model, but in reality it wouldn't be painted? As a kid just starting out, me painting this, like, it would look absolutely awful. I think I want this to be like a nice coil colour, some sort of turquoise or blue, I think. Looks like he's got like a little light on the top up here. What colour to do that light? Some sort of flashy light thing. Without seeing it, it's hard to say. Oh no, let me go back up. Leslie says, would copper or brass be an option? Do you think it would fade into it with the orange? It might do. I've got quite a range of like brasses and bronze colours and whatever. But on a model this scale, the difference between the golds and the brasses, they're often lost because they're such tiny little details. But like on a bigger model, then they really kind of show themselves off a bit more. So yeah, good idea, but I think actually would be lost ages and ages and ages ago when I had a co-host, Kyle. We would talk about all the different sort of metals and how to kind of like achieve different effects on it for his own army. And I had like a little standalone Terminator model that I had from years and years ago. It came in a white dwarf, and I just painted up various parts of him with all the different colours that I had, and then chose different ways of like weathering them and kind of like washing them with oils or with, you know, Agrax Earthshade and all that sort of stuff. And it came out really well, but in most cases it was quite difficult to tell the difference between like brass and gold. Kat says, without seeing it's hard to say, but I feel that gold would blend in too much with the orange and the red. Yeah, if I show you one of my Skitaris here, you can see that they've got gold on them. It stands out okay. especially when the orange gets darkened down. These were darkened down too much. You can see that that's too much staining at the bottom of their cloaks, but it looks alright from the tabletop. They look weathery. Yep, said it at the same time. Machine gabling is usually a gloss black. However, you could also pick them out individually right up to black and yellow hazard stripes. Yeah, I thought of that too, but that would make me go mental. So maybe at that scale, that hidden away, maybe I'll avoid that. But yeah, that would look really cool. It would be a test of my ability for sure. But yeah, like you say, like if it was like just normal realistic things, it would just be like black, wouldn't it? But if it all goes wrong, at least that's an option, right? Just making sure that I don't get paint all over everything. And I'm starting to go in behind that backpack now. So I've got to try and get in on the other side, to this side, without getting all over his nice cloak. Which is actually quite difficult. Was that the days of brassy brass, says Jeff? Yes, it was. You know what? Just for old time's sake. Brassy brass! A dark colour. My bronze is very close to gold. Like a dark gold colour. Cat hairs. We'll show you with cat hair. Okay, that went quite well. This is one of those awkward episodes where I can see what I need to paint, but you probably are just looking at me holding a model in lots of weird different ways. Sorry. Easy 8 model holding club. Ooh, that's a lot of silver. Gotta wash the brush out again. Dries quite quickly, does the silver, so it really builds up in the brush and gets quite thick and claggy. It'd be interesting to know if claggy was actually a word. I use it a lot. How's everybody's models going? Are you painting really well? Is it all going well for you today? Have you stopped for the night? Just realised this little arm's got like a little light on the top. That's really cool. Shouldn't go flying this time. I was just chilling, watching the awesome show. Kez says, painted this afternoon, having a break this evening. Oh, okay, cool. Well, thanks for coming along and supporting the show anyway. yeah, I've had like virtually no time at all this week. It's just been really busy. It's been so chaotic at work, and it's just required people at my level to just be like on it. Like I say, I'm a line manager, and it's my team and the other teams that are out there in the field doing, literally in the fields, doing all the hard work all the time, and I'm out there working with them, making up for staff shortages, and of course I'm helping them in between as well. So when they're having their breaks, they need to be like setting up for other work at the same time. That's just a lot to ask people, so I'm going out there and doing all that for them as well. But I got a special thank you and a mention at our meeting today, and that was really nice. But it's just meant that I'm coming home and I'm just absolutely spent. You know those sorts of days. We'll get through it. We'll get there. But it's just meant that I've had no hobby time at all. Knowing that I've just got loads of it coming up. So, yeah, looking forward to this. These next couple of weeks. It's going to be bliss. We're getting somewhere now, aren't we? Take a look at this guy. Like he's all really quite. My hand's too bright. He's looking really cool and detailed now. Really liking him. Claggy when he spent time in a hot tent in medieval kit. Yeah. Claggy means tending to form clots. It is a real word then. Clag, the soot emitted from diesel engine upon startup after being stood for a while. It's a real word. What do you know? I discovered a long time ago that bletch is a real word, and it was used from Bletchley, which is up in Cheshire in northern England, and it was one of the first, if not the first, railway stations, and the people who worked there as engineers would be covered in thick grime and grease, and bletch is what they call it, so it became Bletchley. Fancy naming your town after the dirt and grime that you work with. It's a bit like, imagine calling your town Claggy. Just saying. Bletchley. Strange place. Don't know why it was strange. Because I'm a southerner, you see. Now there's something going on here on the front of this light. It looks like it's a little steel cage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be bold, and I'm just going to slap silver all over it. And then when I come up with an idea on how to paint the actual filament or the glass bit in there, then I'll just have to deal with the fact that I'm painting over silver at that time. I'm okay with that now. Maybe later I will regret past Danny. Maybe future Danny sat there now going, what are you doing? But he's just going to have to deal with it. Because past Danny makes decisions. They're not always the best. Got to paint that last little bit in there. So there's little ridges on the top of the backpack here. I paint those gold later on, so it will. There's a lot of silver there now, and it all looks a little bit busy. Looks a bit too much, perhaps, but it will look better. I hope. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just paint this whole head silver. I think I just need to do it, right? Okay, let's do it. One of the things I've learned about being a manager is just make a decision where one is needed. And
deal with the fact that it's the wrong decision later. And obviously don't do repeat offences. Got a bit of silver on there, but that's actually going to be his shoulder armour, so that's fine. So yeah, we can paint all this silver and just be done with it. And then pick out details and stuff later. Now I've got some white ink which will be able to drop into those little eye sockets later on, so if I'm regretting the fact that I've got to paint like bright blue and stuff over the silver, it's actually quite a good blue and it will cover it anyway, but I've got some white ink, which will make quite short work of that. It's going quite thick there because I'm kind of not rushing but just smushing it in. Just take a second to move that around, excuse me. Tea is making me burp today. Oh, excuse me again. Lovely. Okay. We've done quite a bit today. Really quite happy with that. Right. He's got like a huge collar, like a mantle thing coming up there. We are getting quite close to the end of the show. About a quarter of an hour left, and we know that that goes quite quickly. I'm just intrigued to see how much I can get done. We've got these really cool shoulder plates. Yeah, it's all very rich colours right now, isn't it? You can still see that there's quite a shine to that brush paint that I put on earlier on. It's quite a different hue. So I'm going to go over that in a minute with the airbrush paint with a brush to see if it matches back to what it was when I airbrushed it on. Definite difference between the brush on paint and the airbrush paint. Looking forward to how this guy turns out. What he's going to look like at the end. And I know he's very rich and kind of gaudy in his colours right now, but I know that this colour scheme really works. When all the washes go on, it dulls everything down, it defines all the details, picks everything out. It's going to look really cool. Look really good with an army. And I'm just looking forward to a time when I can actually play a game. But that's going to change too, because they've just obviously announced, and I'm just waiting for the rules to drop, but 10th edition is on its way. It is official. There's a part of 10th edition Warhammer 40,000. Some new sculpts. I've seen all the new Tyranid models coming out. It looks fantastic. Like, they've really done us Tyranid players proud. Like the new sculpts on the old Termagants. So Leslie's just finished painting. How many 36 Termagants they got? All the new sculpts all coming out, bro. They look fantastic. You might want to hold off. I'm upset that I spent all those episodes and weeks ago painting up Termagants. The new ones look amazing. So just be aware that there's a load of new Tyranids on their way. And of course the Lions dropped, doesn't he? So Lionel Johnson, the new loyal Primarch. I'm not going to go as far as to say that the model is fabulous, but it's not a bad model. In the same respect, I think that Guilliman was done. Like, it's not a bad model, it's not what I want. I really like the Gulliman that Forgewell did. I thought that he was fantastic. They really got the statesman and warrior thing kind of across in that model. Someone read the brief when they sculpted him. It's brilliant. The problem that I've got with the lion is while the model's not bad, a lot of it's to do with the face, and I know you can have like unhelmeted, helmeted, etc. I think the model's a little wanting, just a little bit. But I've seen some artwork of the lion done before, and he just has this kind of, I don't know, sort of, it almost got like a biker kind of a look to him. You know, like a short blonde beard, you know, long blonde hair, but he's just a little bit scruffy. He's not like, I don't know, it just looks cool. And I was hoping that we would have got that, and what I think we got was a little bit too much nobility. That might be down to the paint job that I've seen on him, but I've just found him a little wanting. But it's not to say that it's a bad model. I think people are going to do some really impressive paint jobs on him. And I can't remember what the Forge World version of him looked like, if they even did one. I can't remember. But I know that it would be cool to do the Primarchs. It's definitely something that I'm into. Big hero characters, putting a lot of time and effort into one and making them look cool as a massive centerpiece for your army. I just don't have the time for it because obviously I've got so many other projects to go for. Maybe in time I'll get around to them, because obviously we've got Mortarion of the Death Guard, we've got Magnus the Red, Thousand Suns, he's really impressive. We've got Angron of the World Eaters. There's lots going on, lots to think about, lots to do, and I'm just trying to make sure that I put all my attention and focus into the correct thing at the correct time. But really looking forward to getting into playing some more 40k. It's been too long. Clagbottom, that's the 10th thing again, isn't it? Clagbottom would also close to Nebworth. All seems to be very NID based. What's NID based? Are you talking about the new the new version of the rules coming out? Is that what you're referring to? Yes, can't wait, says Leslie. 4th edition, and yes, the new Tyrants are coming. The new rules are looking cool too. Yes, it's from what I've heard, it's like a simplification, not simple, a simplification. So they've completely overturned the rules and had a good look at it, I think. But now you're going. Okay, I see that now. Now I'm going to depart for the evening. Thank you again for an awesome show, dude. That model's looking killer too. Take care, everyone. Bye. Thanks very much, Leslie, for those kind words and for coming along and supporting the show. Have a lovely evening, a great weekend, and I'll see you next week, mate. Take care. Yeah, when you're saying NID based, do you mean NID based? I was a little bit behind on reading the stuff there. You're saying NID based for the new rules. Is that what you were talking about? Let me just we're getting close to the end now. We're just about 10 minutes left to go. Am I happy with the amount of work that I've done today? Yes, I am. I think this guy, like Leslie says, is looking killer, dude. And he is a killer. There's a dial on the front of this pack that this guy's got here. I was going to leave it, but again, I've got some white ink that I know will do a good job on that. All the vids coming out all seem to be fighting bugs and talking about bugs. Yeah, that new cinematic that's just dropped is really nerdy for me. I was like, yeah, I'm going to put that on my TV on the big screen. And I watched it 3 or 4 or maybe 5, it was 5 times. Right, so I'm just making sure that that little arm there, because it's quite thin and wiry, it's quite difficult to get this paint into all the little bits and armatures and whatever on him. So I'm just trying to make sure that he's got like a good covering. And the underside of this box that this dude's carrying on his chest. Something relevant for programming big robots, no doubt. And yeah, now all I've got to do is paint this shoulder and the collar and then his shoes. But I don't think I'm going to do the shoes today. Might pick those up again tomorrow perhaps. Because I'll have a little bit of time tomorrow. So I'm going to kind of finish off those last little bits. But if I can get that collar and that shoulder done today, that would be massive progress, especially for me. Because we all know that I cannot paint fast. Do you remember a part of my brief to myself at the beginning of the show was to see if I could not waste time. Just get paint on him. And I think that's going rather well. Some other comments going in. I suppose the bugs are a common enemy for all sides, as in you're not teaming up with a NID player. I mean, just for the sake of playing the game, you absolutely can. But me and most of the people who I play with or against, we're all sort of into the narrative of it. So, you know, because what's the point otherwise? So yeah, it's difficult to team up with a NID player. Unless you're NIDs or the Gene Stealer cults, because they might fight together for a little while, but eventually those Gene Stealer cults are gonna get, you know, boiled back down again to stuff, and that might actually mean that they turn against each other, because you know there might be a certain element of independence that a cult has acquired over the maybe decades, living on a planet, slowly turning the planet's inhabitants against itself, sowing discord and whatever all over the place, which means that it's easier for a Tyranid force to come and destroy your homeworld because it's been disrupted. Kind of a distraction, but you know, there might be a certain amount of independence that those cultists and, you know, aberrations have acquired over time. So cults can turn against each other, and NIDs can also turn against each other. I think that's more narrative flavour than anything. But you know, like ant colonies, right? Well, we're bigger and better, and you're not with us. You're not a part of our fleet. You're not part of our hive. So yeah, we're going to destroy you too. But you know, regular Joe teaming up with Tyranids, unlikely. Maybe lure him in as a bit of a deception. Oh, thanks for helping us beat this common enemy. Now I'm going to eat all of you. Right, so that shoulder's done. Let's just, you know, I'm going to wash the brush out again just for this last little bit. That collar's got to be done. And as Leslie is painting up Tyranids as well, we spoke the other week, didn't we, about maybe getting together, playing a game, and I'll play it against your Death Girl with my Tyranids and do that whole campaign that I was telling you about. That'd be kind of fun to do. But also, if we're both Tyranids, it means that we can team up, so we can, you know, get in a group game somewhere along the line, see if someone can take us on. What sort of a Tyranid player are you? Do you like the big stuff, or do you like the horde stuff? I love the fact that Tyranids have kind of got a little bit like the Imperial Guard. You can go like totally infantry, or you could go like completely mechanized, or somewhere in between if you want to. I'm a big fan of horde armies because, yeah, as I've said before, I absolutely love the Aliens film. So I love like the lots of bugs thing running all over the ceiling and the walls and in corridors and whatever. And I'm really into the whole Space Hulk thing as well. That's great. I love it. And I'm also into Starship Troopers because it's just fun, right? So having a horde of Grizzlies is absolutely brilliant. But I also like monsters. So I like all the big stuff, you know, the big Nidzilla stuff. that's fun. And I like somewhere in between. You know, I like the idea of having a horde that runs out, completely ties you up, and then the big stuff comes over, smashes you over the head, and then you get turned into an acid pool and then drunk up through a giant alien straw. I know Leslie's gone away for the evening, but you'll probably watch it back later on. Last little bit, and I just need one more drop of paint, just because it's just kind of run dry on my palette just there on the side. Just one little bit. There we go. That's probably even too much. Yeah, it just says purity of the hive and all. Yeah. A group game would be nice, says Kez. Yeah, man. I'll kill you. I would just field rippers, thousands of them. Yeah. That should be really hard to take on as well. They haven't got anything special. They're fearless, so yeah, you're not gonna make them like run away or anything. They've got like multiple wounds per base, so if you just had like hundreds and hundreds of ripper bases, they're gonna take you down eventually. Necrons have a similar unit called scarabs. You get a base of like little beetles, scarab beetles, but obviously they're robotic, and they're really good at taking down like armored things like tanks. They'll strip it down. They can move quite quickly. Again, fearless. Great for tying up units with infantry. But if you think that you're gonna, stop them with guns and ammo and people running in with swords and whatever, you'll do a little bit for sure. Go and hold them off. Okay. I think I've done that collar. I'm really happy with where we've got on this. That's gone really well. I'm gonna do this little box here. I was thinking about doing that box earlier on. I've got a little bit of paint in the palette, so just while I'm here now, just gonna paint that up. Before I go this evening, I am going to put a little bit of airbrush orange over the paintbrush orange, just to try and match in the hues. There's also a little bit of shininess to it, which I don't really want on there. That's just disappearing off to the side there, so you couldn't really see what I was painting. Oh, got a croak. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Napalm, lots and lots of napalm. Yeah, blast markers will do it. Anything that's got the blast rule has a benefit against bases like that have the swarm rule or something like that, or like with multiple wounds that represent multiple individuals on a base. Basically do like extra wounds, so yeah, blasts are a great way of doing it. One last little bit, which is just on the back side of that box now. It's done. It's looking absolutely awesome. So I've still got to do his feet, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm happy with as far as I've got there. He's looking really cool. He's very, very busy.
Very, very busy. I'll take a photograph of him. I'll stick him on Facebook so that you can see what he looks like when he's not all bleached out or out of focus, perhaps. There's still loads more to do on him, but that was really good progress. I'm really, really happy with that. Come a long way already. Excellent. Right, what I'm going to do is wash my brush out. Just had an alarm come from my phone saying bills are due tomorrow. Nice, isn't it? Ripper bases, that's what the big guns of the guard are for. Yes, yes they are. Can't you do a danger close kind of shot on your own troops if they overrun? You can't, or maybe they don't want you to. Yeah, you can't direct fire on your own units like that, but you can have it like hit nearby. Back in the old days of templates, but they got rid of those in the last couple of editions in favour of just doing more wounds to a particular unit to speed things up and to stop the inaccuracies of like trying to place a template over a unit or something. I like the tactile approach of using a template. I really enjoyed that, but I understand why they moved away from it, and it does flow, it does work. I just miss using the templates. I think they were kind of cool. It allowed you to move it around and kind of, just kind of get down there in it, and it kind of made you feel like you were firing out something. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to come away from the workbench here. Let's get to here. Yeah, so I missed the old template stuff. I'd be really interested to see what they do with the new rules, because they're going to do something different, right? Hopefully, maybe. We'll see what happens. Anyway, finish my tea, which is stone cold, by the way. Still tasty, but I can feel it going down. It's been a really, really productive evening in terms of just that one model there. Doing all my old Skitarii takes forever, so I'm really happy that pretty much through most of the silver, just those couple of little bits left to do. Obviously there's loads of accents and things to do on that, like all the gold bits. There's going to be loads of black pipes and things going in there as well. Loads of detail, but I don't have to go crazy with it to make him look really cool. So hopefully one more show, especially with a little bit of downtime between shows, I might be able to get him done. That'd be cool. It'd be really cool. I'm looking at it now, it's really glaring, it's really bright and rich with all those colours on there. Just going to go and sort out the orange colour on there. As we were talking about maybe playing games, just something to kind of put out there, feelers into the community at the moment. If you're watching back on replay, or if you're there now, I've been talking to some members of the community about actually having an Easy 8 gaming club. This is only going to be useful for the people that live nearby, or for the people that are willing to travel. So probably outside of the counties probably feels a little bit unrealistic, or to people like John Takax at Out of This World Models and Minis, a link in the description, go check out that dude, he's cool, who lives over in the States. It's probably very difficult for him to make that distance to come over for a games club, but it is something that I've always wanted to do. It's actually how Easy 8 originally started off in concept, was to actually have a games club. It was of course the pandemic and the lockdowns that brought it together online. But we've been talking about getting together. Me and my friends, we get together as often as we can and play some games, but we want to kind of make new friends. We had a great time over the last road trip out. We want to make some new friends. We want to extend into new groups of people and invite them in, and then just play games of all varying kinds. It might not happen all that regularly, maybe once a month or every 6 to 8 weeks perhaps, but it'd be nice to kind of have that sort of dedication and an actual official games club. If you've got any thoughts, any views, I'm really open to all of them right now. Nothing set in stone. We've just kind of got a venue that we're talking to the respective owners about, and basically watch this space, because it'll be great to just bring everyone together and play historical games, fantasy games, card games, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not about painting now in this. It's about just coming together and playing games with friends and making new friends. A social club where you actually meet. And we're talking about doing it in a pub. So, just saying. Anyway, that's just something to think about. And I really would love to hear your thoughts on it. You can get in contact with me on Facebook through the Easy 8 Facebook page. There's a link down there, of course. You can talk to me about it on Discord at the end of the show. I will be on momentarily at the end of today's show, because I haven't really seen my partner much these last couple of weeks. So I'm going to go spend some time with her, because she's home now. You can leave comments, things on Discord. You can put things down here in the comments section. I read everything, and I'm genuinely interested in anyone's opinions, whether you're a regular viewer or otherwise, whether you're foreign or whatever. Any kind of input would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, that's enough from me this evening. I've had a great time painting. Thank you so much for your company. And in the meantime, carry on painting. Be safe, be kind, and yeah, just put paint on stuff. See you later on. Take care now. Bye-bye. Just put paint on stuff. That was the best I could do. That was the best I could come up with. That wasn't the best sign-off ever, was it? Just put paint on stuff.